Lawsome by ConsultWebs. Breakthrough insights to build a thriving law firm with your host, Tanner Jones.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, Lawsome listeners. Today on the show, we're talking with Josh Sanford. He's an attorney and the owner of Lexamica. It's a company that manages and tracks referrals. Josh created Lexamica with a philosophy of simplifying, updating referrals so that users will enjoy the process and stay more informed. The company also consistently promotes tracking referrals, which will become a law firm's consistent revenue driver. Aside from staying active with Lexamica, Josh is also a managing member of Sanford Law Firm PLLC. He oversees a group of dynamic attorneys who work on various cases within his practice. Today's topic, it's around breaking passive networking through proactive referral tracking strategies for law firms. Josh is going to share some experiences and several valuable insights as both an attorney and as a business owner. Welcome, Josh. This is one I've been looking forward to.
Yeah, it's great to be here. So excited. I wish that you would have started by saying that you and I met on a golf course at a conference, and that was super fun. So it's great. It's great to know you.
I was saving that one. I was definitely going to compliment your golf skills. They're much far surpassed mine, but maybe that's probably better left off the record.
Yeah, edit that part out.
Josh, I'm very pleased to be talking to you about such an important topic. I mean, we've talked about this topic for years and years in working with law firms about just simply the power of referrals. Most any law firm out there is depending on a healthy percentage of their business that's coming from referrals, and then also sending out a healthy portion of business through trusted referrals. So it's a hot topic for many law firms, and you obviously have very personal experience in this world. So I want to first start with the concept of passive networking, because I think that may be a term that maybe we can make assumptions on what it is, but it's one that you've used in the past and you've used clearly as the title for this discussion. So let's start there. What is passive networking in your mind?
Well, non-intentional networking, where lawyers are happy to connect with the people that they happen to meet in life and network with them, whether it's through kids sports activities or church or going to conferences or wherever you can meet anyone. Just keeping your awareness up of the types of people that you may be able to receive business from or send business to. It's
Right.
important in everyone's business, right?
So yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Passive networking, I would say, just based on my experience, is probably where the majority of lawyers land. Not really a ton of, I'll say, accountability around it, or even intentionality around it. So let's take that to the next step. You talk about, clearly that's an important piece, but you also stress the importance of having a solid referral tracking strategy or system in place. And so I'd like to hear from you on your personal experience. What is being more intentional about a system or a referral tracking process? What does that actually deliver to a law firm? What's your experience?
Yeah, I'd love to tell you how I got into it and why it means so much to me. So, I have a wage and hour practice in Little Rock, Arkansas. Historically, I have, and we wanted access to unpaid wage cases all over the country. And we put our heads together and we realized that there are these law firms out there that are spending like millions of dollars a year making their phone ring for PI cases. They don't want employment cases. They wouldn't know a wage and hour case if it slapped them in the face. So we very intentionally connected to market leading law firms in the PI space around the country to start receiving referrals from them. And it was great. They're happy to try to get some money from the leads that they're generating that they weren't otherwise monetizing. And we're getting the very type of case that we wanted. We got into this, we were doing it pretty hard for a year or two. And we realized that there was no tool out there which allowed us to report back to them efficiently what's going on in the case. And so we had some of our referral partners, this is not a joke, and this is only like 4 years ago, faxing us a list of the cases that they had sent us and then wanting us to annotate the fax and send it back to them. And that's not efficient. And so my partner and I developed a tool that allows lawyers to efficiently track the cases that they send and receive in both directions on the web. And it's super easy to use, and it integrates with people's CRMs or practice management software. And I'm so excited about it because it was a pain point for me. Because, like many lawyers, I know that without a tool in place, you're kind of limited to, I think, one of four options when it relates to referrals. The first one is probably one that most people that listen to your podcast don't use. That's the just don't do it. You say, I don't want to spend money tracking this, and I don't really know that many people, and I'm not going to bother with trying to send cases to other people. Then you got lawyers at the exact opposite end of the spectrum, who have the big budget solution. They'll have a paralegal, or maybe a lawyer, or maybe both. In fact, I know one firm with a referral tracking team of 13 people. So over $1 million a year they're spending keeping track of the referrals that they send to other law firms, just to make sure that the client experience is good and that they're getting paid. That big budget solution works for some people, but it certainly doesn't work for a lot of us. And then you've got kind of a more nuanced approach, which is just like confinement to your own social network. So you'll send cases to the people that you know and trust. You assume that they're doing a good job. You assume that they're not going to rip you off. You hope that they send you cases, but you're not like actively spending money or effort to keep up with them because you trust them. And hopefully you occasionally see them at a conference or a bar meeting or around town or however you know them. And you're hoping that because you guys see each other, they'll remember that they owe you money and they'll pay you. And then of course, there's kind of the opposite version of that, but still on the continuum is the just spray and pray. Send out referrals, don't keep track of it. Doesn't matter what you know about the case or don't know, and hopefully someday you'll get paid. And anytime a check comes in, you're like, oh, that's fun. I didn't even realize I was going to get that money. All of those are like historical approaches that people have used to managing referrals, and they all have their benefits. But we developed a tool that simplifies the process so that everyone can get involved.
Which really hits, that's on that first point, that in terms of just the convenience of being able to have access. But I'm curious, and I would imagine, at least I've heard this personally, that there may be hesitancies of, a lawyer's reputation on the line and wanting to know they have a confidence in that other lawyer. Do you hear that often? And I'm curious, is there a solution to that with such a seemingly more convenient system?
I think that's a really serious issue. And the way that we've engineered for that is that we gatekeep the network. We don't let just anyone sign up to take cases. They have to have compliant malpractice coverage. They have to have certificate of good standing. We also do some social proofing. So we don't let just strangers that that don't know anyone in our network in. Now we have a network of 150 lawyers, and we have case types of cases that I didn't even know were out there. I'm sure your lawyers are familiar with everything under the sun, including Jones Act and FCRA and everything else. But there are lawyers that specialize in types of cases that never came across my door. But we've built our network through friends and through friends of friends. And we've got some tracking built into the platform so that you no longer have to just trust your gut or someone else's word, but you can actually see that the case is moving forward. And we think that that is the way to de-risk the problem that's there.
That makes sense. Yeah, and I assumed you had considered that path. I'm curious, what experiences, specifically any kind of success stories or experiences you've had about intentionally tracking referrals at this level? Any kind of, have you seen business opportunities be created through that type of intentionality?
Oh, absolutely. I'd like to start with a customer on the platform. I'd love to tell you my story because once we developed the platform, my brain started going and I came up with a use for it that I had not foreseen. I'd love to tell you about that. But let me tell you about
Yeah.
a lawyer that I know named Tom. He's from Texas. He has some, like a lot of us, he does social media and he tries to get cases, that way, as well as like traditional marketing. And he was able to do that, and he would sign up cases and then refer them out to lawyers that he knew. And he actually made some good money at it.
Mm.
He's in the personal injury space. He knows lawyers in the personal injury space, but he didn't know anyone outside of those practice areas. Um, and so what we plugged him into our network, and since that time, he's been able to find homes for employment cases, workers' comp cases, Social Security, whatever comes through the door kind of organically or naturally, even though he's not advertising for those things, and able to get money on the back end. And it's low effort. Like if you've got an intake form, you're just hitting the refer button and it's gone. It goes to the people that we have who've registered with us that we can connect into the platform. So that's been great for Tommy. I would imagine that most of your viewers are in a similar situation, whether they're paying for the leads that they get, or some of them are just coming in organically. However, you get them if they're outside your geography, outside your practice area, or the third thing, which I wish was me. It's just like so many cases you can't handle them. Those all can be referred out, and it doesn't have to just be to the people that you know. So Tom's story is like, I think a lot of people's super successful on our platform. Once we built the platform, me personally, I became friends with a YouTuber. It's a channel called Legal Eagle, and maybe some of your viewers have seen it, but we started a law firm together, and we refer tons of cases all over the country through Lexamica, through the law firm that we made on his YouTube channel. It's called eagleteam.law, but it's on this YouTube Legal Eagle channel. And it's kind of how we manage our practice is on the Lexamica platform. My goal is, whether you have a kind of a futuristic idea like that, or if you're just like a normal person who gets leads and you can't find a home for them, that you can monetize them to the greatest extent possible.
I mean, that's all fascinating to me, and it makes sense that there's a world of opportunity there. Like anything else, when you're intentional and focused on something, you're likely going to see more out of it. And to me, that process improves everyone on both sides of that, including the client, in getting served more efficiently, which is fascinating. But I'd like to take another angle here, Josh, and that's, this is clearly, it's the software concept. It's a data-driven approach in terms of being able to effectively track this, but it also leads into the question of overall communication, overall serving both the client, but also serving essentially the referral partner in a sense. Communication is a critical part in that. And so it seems like there has to be some kind of blend between the automation side, the data-driven side, and ultimately still being able to maintain personal relationships. So what insights do you have in terms of being able to find a balance in tracking while maintaining these types of relationships?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So for me personally, I've had this experience, and I'm curious if your viewers or listeners have. It's like you refer out a case, and you trust the lawyer that's working on it, so you're not nagging them, hounding them, trying to find out what's happening with the case. Well, the client knows you; they love you. You helped a family member of theirs,
Right.
or they were personally your client in the past. They know that you referred the case, and they signed a fee agreement and know that you're getting some of the money. So they assume that you're working on the case. They call you. They want to know what's the status of the case, right? And this happens all the time. Well, you don't know. So if you're like me, what I did in the past was I would say, "Ooh, that's a great question. I'll check on that and get back to you." Well, I look dumb. Like I don't know what's going on in their case. I supposedly care about my client, and I'm definitely getting paid on it if we win. And what our platform does is it gives you real-time data sync back into your CRM, so that when the client calls in, anyone on your staff can say, oh yeah, here's what's happening. Discovery's been served, or they're currently negotiating, or the judge just set your trial for 14 months from now, or whatever the status of it is. What we want to do is use that automatic data sync to make you look and be more connected to the facts of the case, more in a position to appear as the authority that you actually are to your client, and to automate that so that you're not the referral partner that's nagging your co-counsel about the status. I don't want to look like I don't know what's happening in my cases to my clients. I want to know. I want to be able to look at click a button and see what's happening.
Makes sense. Well, let's move into the concept of community engagement for a law firm. Community engagement is something any marketer is going to preach in terms of being of value for a law firm, primarily going back to the root topic, which is because of the network. It gives you the opportunity to get your brand out there, to represent yourself, to meet new people, to be able to get in front of existing relationships, all of which are incredibly valuable and a big factor to continuing to grow your referral base and your word of mouth. So I'm curious, based on your experience and being in the trenches in the world of being a lawyer and referrals, how can a marketing agency or even a marketing team help a law firm connect and leverage, whether it be community events, whether it be conferences, speaking engagements, whatever that may be? How can they leverage it for more effective referral opportunities? What feedback or valuable advice would you offer listeners?
Oh, Tanner, that's a great question. I love that question. Here's my thoughts. As lawyers, I want to specialize on certain types of cases, and I think a lot of lawyers are that way, and I think that's great. I'm a fan of specialization. I think it helps clients get better outcomes, and I think it's good for the legal profession. There's a downside though, because when you market yourself as a lawyer, your clients don't necessarily come to you only for that type of case. If your marketing works, if it makes you seem compelling as a person, as a lawyer, and not just this one specialization, then you have potential clients coming at you with a variety of issues, kind of all over the map. And honestly, satisfied clients, past clients will come back to you whenever they think of needing a lawyer. And you need to be able to provide value to those people. And just saying, oh yeah, I don't do that kind of case, that's not good. So I think that our platform allows lawyers to have far-reaching community engagement so that they don't need to feel like they're not going to be able to monetize leads that they create that aren't necessarily honed in on their practice area. I want lawyers out in the community just engaging with people full stop, because something like 76 or 77% of people in America who need a lawyer don't talk to one. And that stat freaks me out. I think part of the reason is that we as lawyers are so busy, we don't have time to get out into the community and engage with people so that they feel comfortable reaching out to us. So I think that a platform like this allows lawyers to more freely engage with their community, knowing that it's not going to be a loss, that it's not going to be a write-off just because it doesn't generate that one type of case that they like. Now, I guess that's the community side of it. But for the legal profession, it's been like virtually impossible to effectively scale referring cases to lawyers that you don't know. It's arguably kind of dangerous. And so the goal of our platform is to intermediate the relationship between litigating firms and originating firms. We want to make sure that everyone who gets the cases on the platform is competent to handle them. And just because you met someone at a conference, or there's a lady that's in a social organization that you're in, doesn't mean that they're actually good at being a lawyer.
Sure.
And so I think it's actually potentially more dangerous to refer only to the lawyers that you know, because you have this bias that, oh, I know them, therefore they must be good. No, we really want the best people at any type of case, regardless of whether you know them or not. And I want lawyers to feel like they can engage in referrals more safely and more scalably, in a way that profits them and is great for clients, that's based on transparency and accountability and data sharing, and not just based on a hunch like, oh, I met him, I like him, or we both like to duck hunt, or that guy was good at golf, so I trust him, or whatever. Like, I want people to use data to get better outcomes for more clients, and to get those clients, whether you're doing it through marketing spend or through community engagement. I want people to be confident to be able to do that they can help more clients.
Josh, it makes sense. I'd ask you, or any other closing thoughts or final remarks when it comes to this overall concept for attorneys, and maybe any tips or actions that you would compel them to take?
Honestly, it's something that I think about a lot of the time, which is the kind of the future of the legal profession. And I'm always asking myself, how are things changing? Are they changing? I think they are. I have friends who spend millions of dollars a year on TV advertising. You know what they all tell me uniformly? The cost of acquisition for a case is on the rise. And why is it? It's because marketing is more fragmented, right? Cases are coming from more different, diverse places. And I don't think that trend is a blip. I think it's forever. And I think that lawyers need to be engaged in digital marketing all over the map. They need to have a strategy for it. They need to feel comfortable that where they spend money to get cases, that they're going to be able to monetize those cases, even if it's not a case that they can litigate. So anyone who is sophisticated enough to spend money with a marketing company, I think is sophisticated enough to also track their referrals and make the referral strategy a meaningful part of their business, because we have this huge opportunity that's presenting to us right now, which is like this bifurcation in the legal marketplace, where there are people who are really good at getting eyeballs, who maybe can't handle all the cases that they bring in. Well, you need to get connected with those people. And if you're one of the eyeball people, if you're good at getting cases, you need to have litigation partners who can handle those cases. And we've set up a network so that people can create value for themselves and their firms and their families and their clients on both sides of that transaction. Because I think that the profession is changing in that way. And I don't think that you have to adapt to survive. I think you can just keep on doing what you've done to survive. But I think if you want to grow, I think if you want to thrive, you need to adapt, and you need to adopt new technologies that are available. And if you're like sophisticated enough to spend real money marketing, then you should capture as much money as you can from those marketing dollars. That's my take on it.
Josh, we appreciate those insights and appreciate so much your willingness to come join the Lawsome Show. How can someone find you over at Lexamica?
If we're talking to lawyers here, I'll just tell you I'm a texting junkie. And if you need to bleep this out, that's fine. But my cell phone number is 479-857-0776. Text me, 479-857-0776. www.lexamica.com. I'm Josh at lexamica.com. I'm not the CEO. I am a co-founder of it. I still work at my two law firms, my one in Little Rock and my one on YouTube. And I'm not hard to find. I'm on YouTube myself with a little channel called America's Attorney. And also, actually, I have a platform on YouTube and Facebook for any lawyers who are listening who would want to make videos. They can come on our platform and we can get them out on Facebook and get them in front of some new viewers. I'd love to do that. So I hope I'm not hard to find. I'll tell you that much.
Very good. And we'll put all that information as well in the show notes so you can reference those. But thanks again, Josh. Grateful to have you.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Hopefully you and I can play golf again soon, right?
Looking forward to that. Hopefully in maybe sunny Arizona.
Thanks, Tanner.
Lawsome by ConsultWebs with Tanner Jones. For show notes, links, and info, go to consultwebs.com/podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Watch for the next Lawsome episode to discover more breakthrough insights to build a thriving law firm.